Alright, this is a help video to help, I guess, take a look at what happens when we're basically trying to put an equation into standard form. Alright, so let's take a look here. First of all, standard form, and this stuff will kind of go back and forth, but I just want to write some notes to start off here. Okay, so standard form is x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared. Sorry, I'm getting a little freeze there. Alrighty, sorry about that. Let's get that closed out real quick. I had to switch slates. Okay, so this is standard form. So when we start working our problem, what we're going to do here is we're going to go through now at this point, and we're going to take what we have. Oh, by the way, the center of my equation is located at h comma k, with my radius, of course, being r. Alright, so let's take what we have here. So this is my h, and this is my k. So as I go through here and I start plugging things in my equation, I have x. I take the 5 and move it directly down, so it'd be minus 5 because of the minus sign inside, quantity squared, plus y minus, I'm sorry, that would be plus, and let me, actually, you know what, let me go back and just do one thing there to show you why it is plus. So let's erase that, because we put the minus sign because that's what the equation has. But our k value is negative 3. So when we, in a minute, we'll simplify that. Now our diameter is 8 square roots of 2. Our radius, which is half of our diameter, means that that would be, half of that would be 4 square roots of 2. So that means I'm going to have 4 square roots of 2 quantity squared. Alright, so when we simplify that to be able to put it into our equation, we get x minus 5 quantity squared plus y plus 3, because two negatives make a positive, quantity squared equals, and we're going to try something here in a minute and see, but at this point we get this statement right here. If we simplified 4 square roots of 2 squared, we actually get 16 times 2, which is equal to 32. So I'm just curious if we could actually put 32 in there also. So let's try that out and see if we get it right or wrong. Okay? So I'm going to switch that off right there, and that's going to take us into, so we can actually be live. Alright, so here we go. We put our answer in. So that's open parentheses, oops, open parentheses, x minus 5, close parentheses. Alright, at that point we will square that quantity. Whoops. Arrow over. We will square that quantity. Arrow over. Plus. Arrow over. Open parentheses. Y. Remember, that's going to be a plus sign. 3. Close parentheses. Squared. Arrow over. Equals. And here's what we're going to try. We're going to go ahead and try and see what happens if we put in 32. Okay? So let's check that answer. Okay, now a lot of people are telling me that their screen's freezing up right there like that, and so if it does screen up, one other thing that you can do is you can right click and say show all, and what that does is it makes your screen small enough so that you can see the slider. You'll notice that they took my 32 and put it in as 4 square roots of 2, like we had it both ways. Okay. Step 2 to this problem is they want us to now identify which graph. So let's do a little side note here before we get going on this. So a little side note on this problem is that if I have an XY axis, this being my Y, this being my X, of course, we know that this is 0, 0. So that means that the center of my circle is going to be located at over 5 and down 3, approximately. So that's not exactly perfect, but it's good enough for what we're doing. Okay, our radius. Now remember, we had up here that our radius was actually 4 square roots of 2, which if we take a calculator and we plug in 4 square roots of 2, give me just 1 second. We'll call it 5.7. So we'll call that 5.7 or almost 6. Alright, so that's going to be our radius with the center there. So that means that from this guy right here, I'm going to go out almost 6, I'm going to go up almost 6, I'm going to go over almost 6, I'm going to go down almost 6, and I'll get a circle that looks something like that. So let's go take a look at our choices. Alright, so choice number 1. It has a center that I go over 5, because each one is 3, so that's 3, and that'd be 6 right there, so that's 5. It goes down 3, so that's perfect. Now my radius has to be almost 6. Remember, each one of these boxes is 3. So this distance right here, 3 and 3 equals 6. So this radius is too much. So now if I go take a look at the next graph, graph B, my center's good, but if I look at my radius, that distance is 3. So maybe that would be 4, and that would be almost 5. But remember, we're supposed to be almost at 6. So B is no good. So we go to C. Okay, center looks good. We go, that's going to be 3. That's almost 6. And you got a little bit more. So C looks like it could be an answer. Let's go take a look at part D. In part D, we have 3. And I would say that right there would be like 2 more, so that would be 5, and maybe 1 more, so that's almost 6. So I think our best answer is going to be D as in dog. So I choose D as in dog, I say check, and if I scroll up, the way I can see at this point is if I get that green arrow right there, I get those green arrows, those green check marks, and that means that I got everything correct. So the scale, you got to work with the scale. You got to make your best decision based upon the scale. You got to eliminate the answers that don't work to be able to find the one that does work for you. If you have any questions or concerns, this is on basically taking an information for a circle and creating an equation in standard form.